browsing, use it to spot patterns, pull links, and build your own research list. Qnotables.com. Browse the notables, verify the facts, stay informed. All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here. From the Q Research boards, March the 19th, 2026, researchers say a newly identified iPhone spyware toolkit has placed a large number of devices at risk worldwide. Security firms report the malware, referred to as DarkSword, exploited vulnerabilities in certain iOS 18 versions through compromised websites. Once installed, the software could access messages, files, and device activity without user awareness. Apple has since issued patches, but experts say devices that have not been updated remain exposed. Analysts warn the incident highlights ongoing risks tied to mobile device security and large-scale surveillance capabilities. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence has released the 2026 Annual Threat Assessment, outlining the most significant dangers facing the United States. The report identifies strategic competition with China and Russia, cyber threats targeting infrastructure, terrorism risks, and instability in key regions, including the Middle East. Officials state the assessment reflects a rapidly shifting global environment and is intended to guide national security priorities across intelligence and defense agencies. The reported killing of Ali Larijani is being treated as a major development within Iran's leadership structure. Regional reporting indicates Larijani held influence across both political and clerical systems, positioning him as a key decision-maker during periods of crisis. Analysts say his absence may shift internal power dynamics, increasing the likelihood that Iran's Revolutionary Guard consolidates authority as the country faces continued military pressure. President Trump says Israel carried out strikes on Iran's South Pars gas field without U.S. or Qatari involvement. The attack targeted one of Iran's most critical energy assets, contributing to immediate volatility in global energy markets. Administration officials say efforts are now focused on preventing further escalation while monitoring potential retaliation. Market analysts indicate the strike has increased concerns about supply disruptions and broader regional instability. Chile has begun construction of defensive barriers along its northern border with Peru as part of a broader effort to control illegal migration. Government officials say the project is aimed at disrupting trafficking routes and restoring border enforcement. Work is underway near key crossing points, with authorities emphasizing national security concerns tied to organized crime and unauthorized entry. The Pentagon has submitted a request exceeding $200 billion to support ongoing operations tied to the Iran conflict. Defense officials say the funding would cover expanded troop deployments, logistics, and sustained military readiness. The proposal would require congressional approval and reflects the growing scale and cost of the conflict as operations continue to expand. Iranian military officials are warning that energy infrastructure connected to the United States and its allies could become targets following recent strikes on Iranian assets. Statements from Revolutionary Guard leadership indicate Gulf oil and gas facilities may be at risk if hostilities continue. The warnings have contributed to increased volatility in global energy markets and heightened concern over potential disruptions to supply chains. The White House confirms that President Trump's planned trip to China has been postponed indefinitely. Officials say the delay is tied to the administration's focus on the Iran conflict and other foreign policy priorities. Both governments are expected to revisit scheduling at a later date as diplomatic conditions evolve. President Trump says the current conflict will not conclude in the immediate term, as the Pentagon confirms U.S. casualties have risen into the hundreds, including both wounded personnel and fatalities. Defense officials indicate operations are ongoing, with discussions underway regarding additional troop deployments and expanded mission objectives. The figures highlight the increasing cost of the engagement as military activity continues. The United States has authorized a broader range of transactions with Venezuela's state oil company, PDVSA, in a move aimed at stabilizing global energy markets. Treasury officials say the decision allows limited engagement to support supply while maintaining key sanctions. The adjustment comes as energy markets respond to ongoing instability tied to the Middle East conflict.
At shop.isawaya.com, everything you buy supports Qn.top, the place where people talk freely no matter what. Check out our Qn Honey Pot, a jar of yummy honey that's as strong as your voice. Put it on toaster and tea. It's not just honey, it's freedom in every bite. Then there's Qn Butter, a smooth handmade skin cream that makes you feel good while you fight for what's right. Awesome wooden pieces for display only. Hang them up or set them out. They're for showing off Qn's tough spirit. Want to help even more? Get a proto membership. So go to shop.isawaya.com now and grab some goodies. Help Qn.top keep free speech alive, and let's keep the ideas flowing loud and free.
All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here. From the Q Research Boards, March the 19th, 2026, the Potomac Interceptor System has been restored following emergency repairs to infrastructure that released millions of gallons of wastewater into the river. Officials report that flow was re-established by mid-March, meeting stated deadlines. Authorities say monitoring will continue as agencies assess environmental impact and long-term system integrity. Former Colorado County Clerk Tina Peters has been found not guilty of assault in connection with a prison altercation. Court proceedings reviewed video evidence of the incident, and the charge was not sustained. Peters remains in custody on separate convictions related to election system access, with additional legal matters still in place. Kuwait has announced the arrest of multiple individuals linked to Hezbollah in connection with an alleged plot targeting critical infrastructure. Authorities report the group was tied to weapons, communications equipment, and operational planning. The arrests come as regional governments remain on alert for potential spillover tied to ongoing conflict in the Middle East. European officials are condemning Iran following the execution of a Swedish citizen. Statements from European Union leadership call the action unacceptable and warn of further consequences. The development is expected to increase diplomatic tensions between Tehran and European governments amid already strained relations. Debate over NATO burden sharing is intensifying as policymakers and analysts question the balance of defense contributions among member nations. Public statements and policy discussions indicate growing concern over whether the United States is carrying a disproportionate share of alliance costs. The issue is emerging as a central point of tension in transatlantic relations. Analysis surrounding Iran's leadership structure continues following the reported death of Ali Larijani, with some experts arguing his influence extended deeper than publicly recognized. Commentary suggests his absence may accelerate internal shifts in authority, particularly toward military leadership, as Iran navigates ongoing conflict and external pressure. Debate over the Iran nuclear agreement has resurfaced, with former officials facing renewed scrutiny over past representations of the deal. Critics argue earlier assessments did not fully capture long-term risks, while others maintain the agreement served as a diplomatic effort to limit nuclear development. The issue continues to shape broader discussion on U.S. foreign policy toward Iran. Administration officials are pointing to rapid military progress against Iran's Revolutionary Guard, stating operational objectives are being achieved on an accelerated timeline. Statements from senior advisors indicate leadership structures and capabilities have been significantly impacted, reflecting the administration's assessment of current military effectiveness. Criticism of media reporting is increasing as lawmakers raise concerns about sourcing and accuracy in coverage of international events. Statements from senior officials suggest ongoing disputes over how information is gathered and presented during periods of conflict and political tension. Public discussion continues around myocarditis rates in children, with attention focused on potential links to COVID-19 vaccination. Health agencies report cases have been observed in multiple contexts, while research continues to examine patterns, causes, and long-term outcomes. The issue remains part of broader public health and policy conversations.
Every voice matters. The power of free speech is more important than ever. Imagine a place where you can share your thoughts freely, explore new ideas, and engage in meaningful conversations anonymously. With online anonymity, you can express yourself without fear of judgment. It's about freedom, creativity, and connection. Join the conversation that matters. Embrace your voice. Celebrate your freedom. Visit 8kun.top today. That's 8kun.top.
All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here. From the Q Research Boards, March the 19th, 2026, reports regarding the death of an Israeli minister's daughter following prior allegations of satanic ritual abuse have drawn international attention. Authorities are reviewing the circumstances, and the case has prompted discussion surrounding legal accountability and investigative processes within the region. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are adjusting certain insurance-related requirements, according to housing sector updates. Officials indicate the changes are intended to improve flexibility in the mortgage market and support stability in housing finance. Analysts are watching for potential impacts on lending conditions and borrower access. Discussion continues around the reported disappearance of a U.S. Air Force general and an associated figure tied to aerospace research programs. Government officials have not released detailed public statements, while interest in defense-related research and classified programs continues to draw attention. Federal agencies have registered new government domains associated with unidentified aerial phenomena and disclosure initiatives. Defense officials have acknowledged ongoing efforts to increase transparency surrounding previously classified programs, as public and congressional interest remains elevated. Lawmakers are advancing proposals that would mandate deportation for illegal immigrants convicted of welfare fraud. Supporters state the measure is intended to strengthen enforcement and deter abuse of public systems. Legislative discussions are ongoing as the proposal moves through the process. Federal agencies continue to emphasize enforcement actions targeting transnational criminal organizations, including MS-13. Officials state these efforts are focused on reducing violent crime and disrupting organized networks operating within the United States. Senator John Kennedy is exploring procedural options to advance the Save America Act through reconciliation, a process that would allow passage with a simple majority vote. The move reflects broader efforts to navigate legislative divisions and move priority policies forward. Regional tensions remain elevated following reports of missile activity linked to Iran and potential threats to Saudi infrastructure. Defense officials across the region are monitoring developments closely as concerns persist over escalation and impacts to energy production and civilian areas. Political tensions in the United Kingdom are intensifying following remarks made at a Reform UK rally targeting senior leadership figures. The statements highlight ongoing divisions within British politics as parties position themselves ahead of future elections and policy debates.
Don'tDeleteMeBro.com. 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 Share the site with others. Don'tDeleteMeBro.com. 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 Share the site with others. Don'tDeleteMeBro.com.
That's all for now. Stay alert, stay informed, and never hand your thinking over to anyone on a screen, including me. God bless you, God bless our troops, and God bless the United States of America. See you soon.
Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt people. The Washington establishment and the financial and media corporations that fund it exist for only one reason. Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by you, the American people. The Washington establishment and the financial and media corporations that fund it exist for only one reason: to protect and enrich itself. The establishment has trillions of dollars at stake in this election. For those who control the levers of power in Washington and for the global special interest, they partner with these people that don't have your good in mind. Our campaign represents a true existential threat like they haven't seen before. This is not simply another four-year election. This is a crossroads in the history of our civilization that will determine whether or not we, the people, reclaim control over our government. The political establishment that is trying to stop us is the same group responsible for our disastrous trade deals, massive illegal immigration, and economic and foreign policies that have bled our country dry. The political establishment has brought about the destruction of our factories and our jobs as they flee to Mexico, China, and other countries all around the world. It's a global power structure that is responsible for the economic decisions that have robbed our working class, stripped our country of its wealth, and put that money into the pockets of a handful of large corporations and political entities. This is a struggle for the survival of our nation, and this will be our last chance to save it. This election will determine whether we're a free nation or whether we have only the illusion of democracy, but are in fact controlled by a small handful of global special interests rigging the system, and our system is rigged. This is reality. You know it, they know it, I know it, and pretty much the whole world knows it. The Clinton machine is at the center of this power structure. We've seen this firsthand in the WikiLeaks documents, in which Hillary Clinton meets in secret with international banks to plot the destruction of U.S. sovereignty in order to enrich these global financial powers, her special interest friends, and her donors. Honestly, she should be locked up. The most powerful weapon deployed by the Clintons is the corporate media, the press. Let's be clear on one thing. The corporate media in our country is no longer involved in journalism. They're a political special interest, no different than any lobbyist or other financial entity with a total political agenda, and the agenda is not for you, it's for themselves. Anyone who challenges their control is deemed a sexist, a racist, a xenophobe. They will lie, and then again, they will do worse than that. They will do whatever is necessary. The Clintons are criminals, remember that. This is well documented, and the establishment that protects them has engaged in a massive cover-up of widespread criminal activity at the State Department and the Clinton Foundation in order to keep the Clintons in power. They knew they would throw every lie they could at me and my family and my loved ones. They knew they would stop at nothing to try to stop me. Nevertheless, I take all of these slings and arrows gladly for you. I take them for our movement so that we can have our country back. I knew this day would arrive. It's only a question of when. And I knew the American people would rise above it and vote for the future they deserve. The only thing that can stop this corrupt machine is you. The only force strong enough to save our country is us. The only people brave enough to vote out this corrupt establishment is you, the American people. Our great civilization has come upon a moment of reckoning. I didn't need to do this, folks, believe me. I built a great company, and I had a wonderful life. I could have enjoyed the fruits and benefit of years of successful business deals and businesses for myself and my family. Instead of going through this absolute horror show of lies, deceptions, malicious attacks, who would have thought? I'm doing it because this country has given me so much, and I feel so strongly that it's my turn to give back to the country that I love. I'm doing this for the people and for the movement, and we will take back this country for you, and we will make